find somebody. There's somebody out there that wants to be your friend. And there's somebody out there who's sitting there in their sweatpants and their mom bun and their day-old cup of coffee, scrolling Instagram, wishing they had a friend. And you can be that friend. Hi friends, welcome back to Texas Family Life. My name is Kristy. I am a stay-at-home mom of 7 kiddos. Their ages at this very moment are ages 7 and under. So I have a lot of time with these kids. And something that I've been thinking a lot about lately is how lonely motherhood can be. So I'd say the one thing that I was most surprised about being a mother, a stay-at-home mom, the thing I was most surprised about was how lonely it could be. And I am very thankful for where I am now with my friends and things like that. But I remember having my first 2 kids, and they were 17 months apart. So I had, a newborn and a 17-month-old, and feeling so desolated. I was so lonely. And my husband traveled for work, and I had my mom and my parents, and I'd go, sometimes spend the night at their house just to not be alone. But the pain of being lonely was so there. It was so lonely. And I just keep hearing more and more lately about moms who are lonely, and it breaks my heart because I've been there and I know how lonely it is. And even today, I have my lonely days. And I think a lot of people remedy that by scrolling Instagram or being on social media, and then when you're done scrolling, you feel even more lonely because you see these people and you're like, oh, they have it all together and they have a good life. And it's really all a trick of the devil if you really want to look into it, because he wants you to feel isolated, he wants you to feel lonely, he wants you to maybe second guess being a mom and having children, and that's exactly what he wants. He wants to tear apart the family. So you do not have to be lonely as a mom, and that's something you should know. And I remember talking to my mom about this, and she said she had a hard time too. And I cannot speak for moms who work as well, because I do not have a job. So the only interaction I get with adults is if I make a play date with another mom, or when my husband gets home from work. And people constantly say, like, you have 7 kids, how are you lonely? And they're not adults. You're not having like adult conversation, and you're carrying after many little ones all day, or even just one little one all day. But especially when they're babies and they can't even like talk to you, it gets lonely. So when I was a mom of just the 2, I found the app, the Peanut app, and it's kind of horrendous. Like, there are a lot of moms on there, and it's almost like moms posting pictures of themselves like as beautiful as they get. And it's a mom friend app, so you go on there to find other mom friends. And I spoke with a few moms, but I did find one person, and we became friends quickly. I'm still friends with her today, and nowadays, she had 3 kids and she's done having kids, and so I'm continuing on having kids, and we talk here and there. Sorry, my lips are so chapped. We still talk sometimes, but she and I are on very different paths now because she's done having kids, and she isn't in the baby stage anymore, and she's living a completely different lifestyle than I'm. Like, I'm staying home homeschooling my kids, and she sends her kids to school, and we're just very different, and that's okay. But it was so nice to find someone in the early years that I could talk to, and we never became close enough where like I could call her or anything like that, which I kind of longed for, and I still kind of long for. I have one very good friend that I can't tell you how tempted I am to like pick up the phone and call her. But I also know, if you know and you have little kids, phone calls are hard nowadays. Like, you pick up a phone and your kids they're like ding ding ding, like, I can act however I want, you can't fuss at me while I'm on the phone. and maybe I am alone in that, but like, my kids, they really take it as like, you're not gonna sit and fuss at me while you're on the phone, so I'm gonna act however I want, which is a problem. But so no, it is okay to feel lonely, but you should very much so try to find a way to not be lonely. And that means getting this Peanut app and finding other mom friends, or one that has proven to be true. One that has proven to be true for me is I made friends at church. And I first started out by going to a rosary group with other moms, and that one was hard because we all prayed the rosary together, and then when it was over, everyone paired up in 2s because these moms all knew each other and I was the new one and I didn't have anyone to talk to. But I was thankful because I had kids and we were at the park, so I went and like played with my kids. And it was a little bit lonely. And I remember thinking like, man, I'm never gonna find a friend. And it's so hard as an adult. I didn't bring any friends with me from high school or anything like that. So it was like starting over fresh. And you might get lucky and find a friend who's not a mom and y'all can still get along well. But a lot of times you just have to find a mom who understands what you're going through as a mom. They have to understand that you're not gonna text back right away and that you're not gonna be able to have uninterrupted conversations and that your kids might get sick and you have to cancel sometimes, like very last minute. And I think people who don't have children might not understand that. But like I said, you could get lucky and have a friend, like a best friend who doesn't have kids yet, and they'll understand because they'll always be there for you. Most friendships don't tend to be that solid. So I did the rosary group, and then I recognized people. We started going to a new parish that we just fell in love with, and my husband and I were praying like, please Lord, just send us another Catholic couple that we can be friends with. And it was like boom, 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 boom after that. Like we went to a patronal feast and met two of our best friends, and my husband hit it off with his husband. My husband hit it off with her husband, and she and I hit it off, and then we ended up meeting up later at church, and all of our kids are similar ages, and they're still in the baby phase, and we're still in the baby phase, and they're still growing their family, God willing, and so are we. And it is so great to have her to talk to. And like after that, I started finding more moms at church. And so church is a big, huge place. If you have a church with a good community, take advantage of it. And it is so awkward at first, like just walking up to people. But I started out like the conversation like, oh, how many kids do you have? Like, what are their ages? Oh, how sweet. Like, do you homeschool? Do they go to public school? Like just the simple conversations like that, and just things like that. My husband always jokes that I know more about his family than he does. And a little unknown fact for you, I have a minor in psychology, so which means nothing, but I like to tell myself maybe I learned it. But you have to ask people questions, and people love talking about themselves. So if you are able to ask questions, you can get the ball rolling. And it's very awkward, but then that also gets it off of you, and you don't feel as awkward because you can be asking the questions, and then you're interested in that person, and they feel like you care about them, and you do if you're asking them these questions because you want to know more, and you want to know if you're going to be compatible as friends. So that is my second thing. Like, don't sit on Instagram all day. Don't sit on these platforms. I keep saying Instagram because that's the only thing I really have. But don't sit on these platforms and look at moms from afar and spend your life wishing you had these friends or wishing, that was your life. You have to get out there and kind of make that life for yourself if that's what you want. And so that's kind of what I've done. And so I have quite a number of very good friends that I truly hold dear. Most of them do go to church with me. And so we see each other, during mass, with the kids throwing a fit and taking the kid out. And, I see their struggles and they see my struggles, and we see each other at least once a week, which is really nice. Because even if we can't get away during the week for a play date, we're able to spend time together. Which is special because if you're a mom, of course, you can't always text somebody back right away. You don't have that time. And I feel like now with twins, that was so funny having newborn twins because I had to stay in bed for a week, and I was always holding them or nursing them because I tried nursing them in the beginning. They're mostly bottle fed now, but I couldn't text anybody, so it was still super lonely because my husband was taking care of the kids and he couldn't come hang out with me, and I was trying to heal from having 2 babies, and so it was still kind of lonely. So if you don't have family around you and you don't have friends and you don't have that support system, then it's going to be a little bit harder being a mom. And I tell you what, having someone to talk to, not to gossip about your husband or to rat on your kids, because it's very easy to start getting in a bad place where you talk bad about your kids or you're bad about your husband, which you shouldn't do. But it is okay to find solace in someone. It is good to find comfort in someone, a good friend, where you can tell them about your struggles and you can tell them about your hard times and they can say, yeah, I know. And the point is to find someone who doesn't like talk bad with you, but lifts you up in the situation. And where they can tell you, you know, I know it's hard today. I have been there. And someone who you could say, yeah, my kids are having the exact same problem yours are right now. And it's just so comforting to have someone that you can speak to about that. And, you know, my husband is my very, very, very best friend. But I also don't want to hound him while he's at work about like, oh, the kids are doing this and that, you know. And I also like he and I having struggles with our kids and speaking about it is one thing, and then having struggles and speaking with a friend who's also going through the same thing is a whole nother thing, and it's just special. So I highly recommend, if you don't have a close church group, find one. If your parish or your church doesn't have a group that meets up after church, and like if your church doesn't have like the donuts and stuff, find a church that does, because our church has like donuts and coffee to encourage people to stay after Mass. And so I have started finding new couples when they walk into church, and I make it a point to go say hi to them and make them feel like they could belong at our Mass, at our parish. So I've done that with a few couples, and one couple I have done that with recently, we've become really good friends. And I just know it's just so lonely if you let it be, and it doesn't have to be. You know, so yeah, parenting can be lonely, and it is one of the loneliest things. And I never knew that moms were lonely until I was a mom myself. And I still have my times where I'm lonely, but now I have some friends that I can text if I'm feeling a little lonely. And another good idea when you're feeling lonely is to pray. No one's gonna be there for you like God is, and no one's gonna support you like God will. And I have a sign up above my fireplace, quote from St. Augustine, and it's, "Our hearts are restless until they find rest in you." And he's talking about God. Like, we are restless. We're looking for something to entertain us and someone to be friends with us and something to do. So we can spend a lot of that time in prayer. So if we spend that time with God and we put him front and center, then he's going to help us to feel better. And that's another hard thing about life, is God never promised that we wouldn't be lonely and that things would be easy and that all that. But he did promise it would be worth it, and that we would get to be with him in heaven one day if we accept our suffering and pick up our cross and follow him. I heard somewhere say, like, God didn't say Jesus didn't say pick up your pillow and follow me. Like, he never said it was going to be comfortable or easy or anything like that. So take your suffering of being lonely too and offer it up. Easier said than done, I know. But it is worth it if you can put your troubles to good use. But tell God, like, talk to him and tell him how lonely you are, and turn to Our Lady and ask her to pray for you, to find a good friend to keep you company. Because they're out there. And I can promise that so many more moms than you think are lonely too. And your mom friend is just out there waiting for y'all to find each other, and it'll be worth it. So find a church. Start by finding a church that you can go to where y'all can talk after church. Find somebody, go up to them, introduce yourself, ask them about themselves. If that doesn't work and you're not finding anybody there, try the Peanut app. It's not guaranteed. I don't even know if it's around still. I think it is. But go there and look for someone who lives near you who's also looking for mom friends. It's so common for moms to be lonely. I promise, if you try hard enough, you'll find somebody. There's somebody out there that wants to be your friend. And there's somebody out there who's sitting there in their sweatpants and their mom bun and their day-old cup of coffee, scrolling Instagram, wishing they had a friend. And you can be that friend. You can bless someone else by being their friend too. And also, do not feel guilty about being lonely. Don't feel bad about being lonely when you're holding your baby in your arms, because it's so normal to be lonely. Like, we as humans love companions. We love having people around for the most part. And it's okay to be lonely. And it's okay to feel lonely, but don't let it get too far. Don't let loneliness like consume you. And that's one more good reason, if you're not new to my channel, you see I go in the grocery store, because I go in and I get adult interaction with people. People stop and talk to me, and I will talk to other people and, you know, make a good day of it. And then I'm like, wow, I got to talk to an adult today. That was nice. Because a lot of times my husband, he wakes up, goes to work, comes home, goes to sleep. And it's like that, you know, for many days on end. So I don't even get to talk to him much. And I can't like call him and talk to him at work a whole lot most of the time, because he's so busy. So I do have to find another way. And also join mommy groups. Go to the library, look up your library, and I can almost guarantee that they have a like mommy and me group. And there are tons of other moms there with kids. Go there and find someone and just compliment someone's shoes. Be like, hey, I like your shoes, and start some conversation. And you just have to get out of your little shy box and reach out, and you'll find somebody. So you can go to a few resources. Okay, here's my list. Mommy groups. So go to the library, go to the park often. I've talked to so many moms at the park, and I've actually exchanged numbers with a few of them. Peanut app is, if all else fails, you can go church groups and get out, like go to the grocery store, go places. You are not gonna find another mom friend if you don't really go places. And yeah, some authentic friends can be made online, like on social media, but not so likely. It will not be as likely. But it doesn't have to be a lonely road. So you heard it here from a mom of 7 who gets out and goes places. The motherhood can be lonely. Like it is normal to feel lonely as a mom. You're not doing anything wrong. You should not be ashamed for feeling lonely, even though you have these kiddos to talk to and play with and interact. It's just not the same as like adult interaction. So I hope you find a friend, and I hope that you take a step to go do one of these things and reach out. And I ask that you like and subscribe this video if you found it encouraging, and if you'd like to see more content like this. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your week, and I can't wait to see you all again soon. Bye, guys.